Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I want to talk about my GRIFFAIN trade, which I closed 10% of this trade at almost 1600%, which is effectively 17x. The trade is still open and I'm targeting much higher. This is not a brag, I just did that as a proof, guys, that this is a real trade. I took the trade and the trade is open. And actually, part of the reason that I closed 10% is so you can see that is a closed long. I don't want people to say, oh, if it's not valid if you don't close the trade because you can round trip everything and blah, blah, blah. So I did close 10% and I'm targeting much higher. This is not a trading tutorial. This is just some of my ideas and what I actually did to take this trade and how I thought. Because I think it can help you give you some input when you try to take any trade, particularly now that the market is pulling back a little bit and we're still early in the biggest scheme of things. So I think maybe today, tomorrow, these days, you can build up some positions that you can ride up for several weeks. So let's go to discuss the actual trade. One very important thing is that when I try to snipe bottoms, because when you look at this trade, it looks like a perfect bottom, but it's very important that this is not a single entry. This is scaling in to a position. So I started on the 30th of April with a very, very small position. And I was willing to take a risk. I was willing to take a risk because I have a decent GRIFFAIN bag on spot, and also I have other trades that I snipe the perfect bottoms on say, SUI and other coins. So I feel very comfortable with my trading accounts. So I was willing to risk a little bit. So I started with a very small amount here. On the 30th of April. And why? Because we did have a break above the accumulation range here. So now I was expecting the pullback to enter. And also there was a confluence with TARS AI and Virtual that had pulled up significant moves. And for me, I see TARS AI, GRIFFAIN, and Virtual as the leading infrastructure projects in the AI agents narrative. So since TARS AI and Virtual did the big waves, I was expecting GRIFFAIN to follow. And since I did see the first leg up and breaking above the accumulation range, I thought that this is very likely to happen. Another reason is that we didn't have a break much higher, so it's a relatively tight range here, because if I had a very big green candle here, it would be much harder to assess where the low would be. And since I wanted to take the trade on 10x leverage, which is quite high leverage, I didn't have much space downwards to get wrong. Other things that I need to mention is that I do not put stop losses. So a 10x trade effectively gives me around 10% downside to the liquidation. And when the leverage is so high, if I put a stop loss like 2% below my entry, it's super tight. It's very likely to get hit. And since I'm on 10x, 2% means 20%. I'm already losing 20% of my initial capital. So when I take high leverage trades, I don't put stop losses, but I plan to DCA in. First entry was here. I did look at the stochastic RSIs. This is something that I pretty much always do. So here on the 30th, it was going, it seemed that on the daily that it can curl up again. But most importantly, the 1 hour, here it's hard to assess the 1 hour. I think it was getting down here. It's not hard to assess, it's hard to show you after so many days. On the 4 hour, you see it was bottomed. On the 8 hour, it was bottomed. And on the 12 hour, it was bottomed here. So I had all the RSIs in smaller time frames, 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hours, 12 hours, all bottoming. And I had the daily start showing signs of curling up. So I took the trade, also in confluence with what was happening with Bitcoin at the time and Solana. So Bitcoin on the 30th of April, which was here, it was the same thing. It has this week of consolidation. Then the stochastic RSI was showing signs of potentially curling up, and it was the same on like GRIFFAIN on the 1 hour, 4 hour, 8 hour, 12 hour. It was bottomed. So I was starting assessing that Bitcoin will continue up without pulling back first. Going back to GRIFFAIN, and similar thing to Solana. I'm not gonna showcase in Solana as well. I'm gonna go back to GRIFFAIN. And then again, as I said, it's very important that here it's a relatively tight range because I do have the support on this 0.5 cents. Which is, it's always hard here to assess because where the coin will find support, it can be here or it can go all the way down. And this can be like a wick that can be very ugly if you want to take a trade on 10x leverage. So as the price, so here I enter here, we got this green candle and then the price started pulling back. But then I started becoming more comfortable with the trade and more confident. I was seeing that overall the altcoins was showing relative strength. So it's the case that if Bitcoin dominance goes up, they go up. But if Bitcoin dominance goes down, the altcoins were quite resilient. They were not getting smacked. So the environment was looking quite good. I was getting very close to the support. And I was always monitoring what's happening in my RSIs in all time frames. So here, when we get the lows again, 8 hour stochastic RSI, it has been on the bottom for so long. 12 hours, see at the bottom, it stays a long time. And then I think at this point, the daily stochastic RSI had reset here, yeah. It hit the bottom. So then, as the trade started going against me, I added more. So if I added an X amount here, I added 1X amount here, so I'm 2X of my initials. And then it pulled even more, so I put another 2X, so I was doubling my position downwards. So I ended up having, I think, a position 8 times bigger than my initial position. And this is something very important because you need, I'm gonna use an example of $100, which is just for easy maths. So if you can allocate $100 in a trade, and you want to try to snipe the bottom, you need to mind how you're going to scale in. Because if you put $50 of the 100 on the first place, and then the trade goes against you and you put another 50, it still might not be enough for you to avoid liquidation if you are on high leverage. So in this case, it should be like you would put like maybe $10 in the first place. So then maybe when it goes against you and goes close to your liquidation, you put another 10, so you're $20 in the trade. If it goes close to your liquidation again, then you put another 20, you're $40 in the trade, and then you put another 40 or 60, and you have your full position. Because you need to mind, if you put, let's say, $50 in the beginning, and then the trade goes against you and you're going to put another 20, if you put another 20 while you have already 50 in, it means that the liquidation price, it's not gonna get so much lower. So you will get a little bit of space, but it will not move much lower. Obviously, this is a risky strategy to follow, and it does make a difference that I do have other trades that feel very safe, and I'm gonna show you. I think I have shown you previously. So on safe, for example, I have the perfect bottom here. I got my full position filled. So here it's a very profitable trade, and it's not the only one. So again, on Sui, not the perfect bottom, but I got the first pullback perfectly. So these trades are very profitable, and so I opened a smaller position on GRIFFAIN, and if it would fail, that would be okay. Like, I was happy to take the chances of this failing. Now I'm targeting much higher. My initial take profit was around here, in this block here. And then I'm targeting, guys, much higher. I'm targeting the yearly open, and then hopefully it can go to previous all-time high and everything. But this is something that I'm gonna assess as we go forward. Another thing that I looked at was the liquidation heat map, which I think people normally don't do. I mean, a lot of people look at the Bitcoin, but here you can select every coin that you want. So GRIFFAIN, I took this trade on MEXC. However, there is not so much volume on MEXC on GRIFFAIN. And obviously the picture that you see is the latest one. So how I actually did it, I saw the Binance perpetuals on GRIFFAIN just to have more volume and more liquidity. And at that time, there was pretty much nothing below. And there was some liquidity building up above, which was not close to my entry price. So there was some quite a distance from my entry to the liquidation levels above, which means that if it's not very close, you cannot use it as a very high probability indicator that the price will go towards there. However, there was nothing below, so it was like either it will go to grab that liquidity or it's irrelevant. If the liquidity is very close, then the price goes to get the liquidity. You see, so for example here you would have all this yellow below. It makes sense for the price to go grab it. Obviously I cannot show you the picture on the 30th of April or on the first days of May. I'm just checking my notes. I don't want to forget something. I think that's pretty much it. I think this is gonna be a very relatively quick video. So yeah, this is how I took the trade. because the market is pulling back, as I said, and I think you might find some nice opportunities. What I'm currently doing is that I'm building a position on Cubic. I was in, it moved very nicely up, and then it knocked down again. So I actually doubled my position because I also see signs of accumulation here. So I would say that this is top 1, top 2, and then now we're probably forming a third top for a nice accumulation bottom here to send the price up. I'm not sure I can take this schematic as it's not a very clean one. However, it's good enough and judging the overall market. And again, this is a chart that I like, but I think since everything is red, maybe you can try to build some positions on tight regions. Don't try to snipe a bottom on big green candles like this, because this can go, I don't know, GRIFFAIN now. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes all the way back to the Monday low. It is possible. So try to find tight ranges and snipe bottoms if you want to do that. That's it. I share a lot of things regarding trades, meme coins, overall market sentiment and ideas on my private channel, link on the description below. If you like this video, please like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.